Jim jogged back down the coaches onto the platform waiting for his passengers. Sir Handel was in disbelief of seeing them. What kind of coaches are those? They're not like ours, he finished laughingly. Well, Jock smiled. Well, you see, some coaches they don't have roofs, and others they don't have doors. That's the tourists they want to see. It's the scenery, trees, mountains, such. Everyone loves it. I see, said Peter Sam. Very unusual coaches. We have them on the Skarloey Railway. Sir Handel does not like them. He said they're trucks. Well, they look like coaches, but however, I don't think at the time. Duke, can I ask you something? Of course, Jock. There's one part of the line has been rerouted, the one near close to the cliff. I heard there was a story about an engine nearly falling over it. Is it really real? Duke looked at Peter Sam as a handle. Yes, it's true. That engine is Jim. You mean Jim the Jinx? Said Peter Sam. Yeah. Whenever he's on the railway, he causes a lot of chaos. He's Jinx, says Handel. Don't say that, said Duke. He's a hard worker regardless. He turned to Jock. Jim may be a Jinx engine, but he is a really useful engine. In fact, his last Jinx ended up in a good life and no longer being Jinx anymore. Jim is both a passenger and freight engine, but however, whenever he goes out and about, things don't go well his way. One time, there were a lot of sheep on the line, and he thought of an idea of whistling at them so loudly that they will get out of the way. But however, his whistle continued on without stopping. It was jammed, and when they arrived at the next station, the passengers refused to get out as it was too noisy. The station master tried to shout at Jim, but no one could hear him. Fortunately, a nearby workman was able to stop the whistling by hitting a hammer against it. There was silence. Afterwards, the manager thought it would be a good idea to send Jim to work at the quarry shunting trucks. The trucks heard about what happened to him and began to make fun of him. Look at Jim! He whistled earlier so loudly and no one could hear him. Let's have some fun with him. Jim was cross and bumped them about. Too hard, actually. Whoops, said Jim. Afterwards, the manager thought of another idea of sending him over to the yards. Jim was not pleased with himself. What's the matter, Jim? Said Falcon. Not very good. Whenever I do a job, things don't go in my way. Everyone said I'm Jinx. Am I? Maybe, said Duke. But you have to overcome it someday. Maybe one of those days, that Jinx may be over soon. Besides, said Stuart, maybe you're not so bad after all. Thank goodness you didn't end up in a serious accident. That would never suit his grace and the railway. Jim was not sure. He was sulky next morning as he collected a few trucks from different parts of the railway until he had a long train. At first, everything was very well, and Jim was very pleased with himself. Everything seemed to be alright. I guess the jinx is over. He began to pick up speed. I should be there at my next destination in no time, he said proudly. The trucks heard this, and they were not pleased. What happened to his old Jinx? He's much better with it, and he's a lot of fun, and now he's not. Let's have some fun with him. And they whispered their plan to each other. They also knew that his brakes were very faulty. They reach a gradient, and when they go down the other side, the trucks begin to biff into each other, sending him down the hill really fast. He applied his brakes to slow down, but he realized that he had no braking power and was still going too fast. What shall I do? I can't stop! Help! Help! Up ahead was a tight bend. Jim shut his eyes and hoped for the best. Duke, Falcon, and Stuart arrived at the bend and were horrified to see the train was gone. All except Jim, the last truck, and his van. Did I fall off the cliff? He cried out. No, you didn't, laughed Duke. You stopped before reaching the edge. Jim looked and opened his eyes. Oh, Jim was relieved when he was put back on the rails and was sent to the works immediately, and remained there for a few days. One day, the three engines were about to set off from the yard when they saw Jim. "Welcome back, Jim," all three said. "Thank you," said Jim. "But I just came to tell you I'm leaving." They were taken aback. "Why?" "Well, when I was at the works, a gentleman came to see me. He's very interested in me as my design is perfect for a railway near beside the sea. He spoke with the manager and he agreed. And I'm about to leave today." The three engines looked at each other. "Well, I'm afraid to say is that hope you enjoy yourself," said Duke. "Make me proud on this railway too." "Thank you, Duke," said Jim. "Do you think that Jim enjoyed his time on this new railway?" asked Jock. "Yes, he did send us a postcard a couple of days later afterwards. He enjoyed his time there. I guess that his jinx finally sent him on a good proper railway." "Where is he now?" Peter Sam and Zahanda looked at each other. "I think he was now displayed in a museum not far from here. He enjoyed his time there, and longed for his retirement too. He deserves it, after all." Duke and Jock had to agree.